So yeah, you'll just go here on cgbackpack.gumroad, and then you'll add it to your cart, and then it'll say how much do you want to pay for it. You can donate, or you can just put 0, and then you can add it to your cart, and then you get it. Add a tip, don't add a tip, it's up to you. And then it'll send it to your email. So you hit get, and then it'll boom send you a link, and then you can just download it, and now you've got that. So I like this Wood Masters pack because it makes like sculpting wood and stuff a lot easier. So now that it's in my downloads, I can open it up. It comes with all of these wood type pieces and things like that. So, and then the scratches one is pretty useful too for like doing like some distress kind of kind of stuff too. So like, let's see, let's go to my free pack of alphas. So like, this is like some scratches I made. You can use it. You can use it just not for metal, right? Like you can just add it the same way. Add it to cart. 0, add to cart. 0 and get. And then you can do. Alright, so. And this is SBSAR. It's like it's a substance file. So you can usually load it into like Unreal, whatever you need it for, essentially, and it will do that for you. Let me open up ZBrush again. Open this up. Alright, so with our alphas, I can start to upload them. Let me drag some of these into a folder, and I'll show you how they work once again. So if I go to import, I can go to my downloads, wood scratches, and then you can bring all of them in. Open, and it's going to bring in all of those, and then you can use those whenever you need to make some let's do drag select. can start to get some of those. For some reason my keyboard is acting up. Might be. I think I need to switch on my keyboard. Give me one moment. Sorry about the random noise. It's just me plugging in this goober. Here we go. All right, back to it. All right, so as you guys can see, if I wanted to start throwing some of these around, I can, but let's work on the background stuff. All right, so the first thing I'm just gonna make one of these, and then make one of these background elements, and then we can duplicate it around. So let us grab a simple cylinder. We're just gonna append it to it. Let's append. Okay. I'm going to rotate this cylinder. Actually, let me scale it down first, then rotate it about 90. Come over here. Let's look at the poly frames that we've got going here. All right, so there's a few ways you can work this bad boy up. Symmetry on, no symmetry. All right, let's turn off symmetry. I'm gonna scale this guy down. I'm gonna turn off my perspective view so that what I'm working on is just gonna move this. I want to, throw a quick Z remesher on this bad boy. I'm going to do same. Go back one. Let's do same. I'm going to, let me see what the detect the edges, and I'm going to keep the creasing, and then ZBrush it. Kind of want is let's try maybe DynaMesh. Hey, this is a little better. Because I'm gonna just grab half of it like that. Use the move tool. Oops. Actually, let's do that. Draw. Control. What that does is then allows me to just move this down like so. Alright. Control select again. Let's go back to draw. And alright, so there's a few things I want to do. I want to first grab these. So let's try DynaMesh it again. Right. And then I'm going to grab these. Control select. And then there's a few ways you can do this to flatten this out. You can scale it. Oops. Or you can use the clipping curve. So Control Shift. I'm going to go to my clip curve here. Wrong way. Like so. And then I can grab that. And then I can go into my deformation and I can, let's go, inflate this area like so. Alright. So let's now, I'm gonna go to my subtools here. So I've got my piece right here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna geometry, let's DynaMesh this again. So let's see if ZBrush will. Alright, ZBrush did a pretty good job with it. Alright. Then I can start to, let's move this, do rectangle, maybe I want to, let's move this piece a little more, it's a little longer. Alright, it's relatively easy, so draw, ZBrush this so we get better topology. Alright, and then I'm going to do something along these lines. And then I can go back to my pen curves tool. Nope, not pen curves. My mask pen. Let's do something like that. Yeah, I can actually, let's go back to my Mask rectangle. I'm gonna actually make this a little bigger. Alright. And now I can go back to my mask pen. Let me turn on lazy mouse. Another thing I want to make sure is let's turn on back face. Brushes. Then let's go into auto masking. I'm going to turn on back face mask so that whatever I do on the front doesn't really affect the back. So nice. Alright, so now I can just gonna do it over here. So now I can go back into my deformation. Actually, I'm gonna control click, go back to my deformation, and then I'm gonna do the same. Actually, let's do a move. Move right there. So I can either move this in or out. I'm gonna move it in a little bit. Let's do and then I can hit it with a polish. Increase this a little bit. Let's go to my draw. Just gonna hit it with the polish a little bit. There we go, something like that. I'm just gonna do that click curve one more time. Alright, and then I'm going to go into my geometry once more. Let's do a quick ZBrush on it. Should give us better topology. Let's do detect edges, keep creases. Let's try Dynamesh instead. Okay, Dynamesh once, and then I'm going to go to ZBrush. Alright, this is a little better result. Got a bunch of crunchy stuff happening at the bottom here that I want to kind of get rid of. Alright, so let's go to poly groups, and then I'm gonna to create the cross in some of these little beamy parts at the bottom, the little stairs. Go to my subtool, I'm gonna append cube. Let's move this cube into place. Scale it down. Scale it a little this way. Then I'm going to do the same geometry. Dynamesh. Go to deformation a little bit. And the reason I can be kind of haphazard with some of this is because it's stone and I'm going to weather it down a little bit. So I'm going to just try to make it not so like modelly, right? Like, cause I could make a base mesh out of it inside of Max and then bring it in, and that's like, it's gonna look too machined, and I want it to look more like it's been living for a while and it's been kind of worn down. Like some of these edges are like not super perfect. They're not like straight up and down. Like this looks like it's been warped over time kind of thing. It's a little stylized too, so like if you started off like super perfect, it's going to be hard for me to get some of that like organic wear and tear back into it. Let's control this, and then let's go Dynamesh one more time. Move this down a little bit. Dynamesh. I'm just trying to make let's go deformation. Extrude a little bit there. Grab more. And let's get 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. And then extrude. again. All right. Actually, let's Dynamesh it, and then we're gonna ZRemesh it again. So Dynamesh, and then I'm gonna go modify topology. Well, ZRemesher. Here we go. So you've got something very interesting there, and let's turn off our poly frame here a little bit. All right. I might want to hit the move, maybe move this guy all the way down so that whenever I sink it into the ground, it kind of disappears. All right. So now we've got a decent base for that. Now we just need to make the cross. So now let's append another cube. It's auto saving. Give me one moment. Okay, let's just scale this bad boy in. Rotate. Do the same here. And then pull this guy up like so. I'm going to move it in place. Alright, and scale it quite a bit. Maybe give it a little more thickness. A little more thickness. And then let's pull this guy up a little bit. And then we're going to do the same process, geometry. I'm going to hit it with that Dynamesh. Bam. It's been Dynameshed. Let's see now. Go to mask rectangle, and then just gonna remove all of these guys that are masked there. Okay. Alright. Now if I do that, I can then go back into my deformation. Just hit this guy with an inflate. Oops. Wrong one. Alright. I'll do this way then. Just grab this, move tool. Boom, like so. I'm gonna Control Alt. Oops. Just gonna Control Alt. This and this. And my mouse rectangle. Just actually ZBrush, it might get better. Ew, no. For some reason my keyboard is dying still, so I don't know. I got it back. Alright. Alright, now go back to the draw. Now I just want to try to dynamesh it again. Alright, so this isn't bad. Might want to move this guy up. Dynamesh it again. Got something that looks like that. Alright, so it's really relatively low when it comes to geometry. So let's go back to our draw. See if we still have a lot of our wood. Let's introduce. We still have a lot of this. Some of these could be good for like breaking up some of this stuff too. So I'm gonna divide it once. There you go. Alpha off. Let's go to BST. It's our standard brush, and then I'm gonna use this kind of cracks that I have here. See what I get. Divide it one more again. Okay, it's not bad. But first I want to damage some of these edges that I have. So the best way to do some damage I've found is let's see, is my keyboard dead again? It's on, but it's just not responding. There you go. Alright, B C T. Clay tube is usually pretty good for doing some like damage to the edges and things like that. Alright. Okay. Gotta Z sub, maybe reduce the intensity quite a bit, and then I want to get a little bit of wear and tear on these. increase it just a little bit. I just wanna kind of wear down some of these edges, right? It's old stone, it's been kind of sitting out. You would imagine it's got some cracks to it, some beat up, damaged parts. I just kind of go to town using some of that. Maybe reduce the brush size a little bit too, so you're getting some more finer kind of cracks, dings. It just looks a little too perfect right now. So I'm just trying to give it a little bit more character. And I'm going to go through the entire piece, the entire thing, the entire gravestone, and do that to it. So just kind of breaking a lot of this up. For some reason, my keyboard is still not working, so I'm going to have to do everything super manually. So I'll show you guys how to do all that. Oh, that's the wrong way to zoom. There we go. Go back to the actual. Okay. Give me one moment. This guy will let me use it as my keyboard of choice. Sweet. Use a USB-C. stolen my wife's keyboard for the moment, so I can hopefully finish this up. Let's see how it works. Or does it just not want to accept any keyboard? Okay, I don't think it wants to accept any keyboard. Okay, maybe it does accept this one. And according to her, she's always right. So I don't know if she's always right because this thing is still. Okay. Alright, this works. Alright, I should thank her, but that would prove her right once again, and I don't want to do that. You shouldn't validate those things, guys. You know, if they think they're right, they'll never let you hear the end of it. So I like to give her as few wins as possible. Keep them humble. That's what I say. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing that I was doing over there before I was rudely interrupted by my malfunctioning hardware. Let's do a smooth on that, and then I'm just going to break up some of these guys, and I'm going to end up merging a lot of these down anyway, so let me rush through what I was slowly getting to. So just going to break up some of these edges here, make it look like beat up stone. All right, giving it some chips, some wear and tear. Do some bigger ones over here. All right. Okay, now I can go in, BST, and then let me student about it a couple times just to give myself some extra geo here, and then actually let's dynamesh this bad boy. Yes. Look at my geometry. ZBrush. Like I said, the alphas are really resolution dependent, so you're gonna want better geometry in your sculpts. There you go. So now these look kind of like cracks and stuff too. So kind of like that. Try a different one just to give myself some variation. Don't want any of the knots. I do like some of the grunge. Some damage. There we go. And this kind of makes it look a little more beat up. Let's give us some more of those bigger cracks. My problem right now is it looks a little too too uniform. B, C, T, clay 2. So I'm just going to use this to go back and do some further damage. Alright, this is going to be background elements, so I'm not, it's going to be kind of hard to see them, but it's all good. Another thing I want to do now is maybe, what's my geometry looking like? That's not bad. ZBrush. Might smooth it out a little bit, but I think I'll be fine with that. What I want to do now is I want to merge all of these together. So I'm going to go to my subtools. I'm going to go to this first one right here. I'm going to go merge and then merge down. Hit OK. Merge down. Hit OK again. Now I'm working with just one subtool now, because what I want to do is eventually start moving them around, because I'm going to do maybe some variations to it, right? And that'll help with, making it look a little more interesting. So let's move this guy right here. Let's move this guy. Oops. Okay, they've got different. We've got 1, 2, and there's like a cross. I thought my keyboard died again. It didn't. My computer did. Alright. So I might scale this guy down. Scale. Alright, what I want to do is I want to kind of match where it's going to be for the shot. Alright. Just going to move this guy in place. Let's do draw for a second. Alright. Just going to hit this guy with the move. Alright, move this guy back here, rotate, bring it down, maybe scale it up or down a little bit. Alright, so now I've got this guy in place. Now I'll do the same for this guy. Alright. Rotate a little bit, scale it down. Alright, just generally trying to move this guy into place. Let me scale it down a little more. Go. Alright, I'm gonna have perspective on anyway, so that's why I'm just going back and forth from perspective to see. Alright. So now what I want to do is work on this tree. The easiest way to make a tree like this, actually, go BST. Let me just throw a quick alpha on this guy just to give him a little more interest. There you go. Alright, just give it a little bit more. It's a little kind of chipped, broken. Alright, robe, simple, easy to do. Alright, let's hit my subtools once again. I'm gonna append append a cylinder. Now let's scale our cylinder down. Let's move our cylinder into place. All right. Just gonna boom, scale. I'm gonna rotate this bad boy like so. And then I'm gonna use a combination of the snake hook tool and kind of extrusion and pulling out to really make his tree. And then I'm gonna do one, right, and then just duplicate it and put it over there, right? So now let's hit the geometry. Let's dynamesh this bad boy. Let's look at our geo. Looks funky. Let's do a ZBrush. That's a little better. Alright. Turn this off. I'm going to just do draw for a second. And then I'm just going to use the, instead of mask rectangle, I'm going to do the mask pen. Right. Maybe turn this off. Let's solo this guy a little bit so we can get a little more on him. Alright, first thing I should probably do is just kind of smooth this guy out a little bit. More stumpy. Alright. And then you can use, I'm going to do maybe branch here. Just draw, let's pull this guy out a little bit. Alright. This is cool and all, but a faster method to do it would be, like I said, to use the snake hook tool. So I'm gonna dynamesh this. Actually, ZBrush this a little bit. All right, let's frame this guy. And I'm gonna go BS. I think it's N, or is it A? Where's the snake hook tool? Okay, so there's a snake hook too. But I'm going to use the snake hook tool. Okay. Alright. I'm just going to start making some amorphous kind of things. Kind of like a tree limb. Just using this to kind of pull out branches and things like that. Thin some of these parts out a little bit, right? It's not supposed to be, it's a tree, so I can kind of be goofy a little bit with it. Right. Right. Just mesh this again. Now all I'm doing is smoothing this out. Let's try the snake hook 2. B S B S B N. Okay. Ooh, I like this one. Kind of makes a base first. I like this too. I might have gone a little crazy with it. B C T. I just gonna break this down a little bit more. And smooth the crap out of a lot of this. Alright. Increase it a little bit. That's a lot of it. Scale, increase the resolution, dynamesh it a little more. Whoa. Alright. Let us go about moving some of this stuff. I'm just gonna start just using the move tool, right? We're gonna get some happy accidents, as the great late Bob Ross would say. this guy to the back now. It's me way behind these guys. Maybe even scaled up a little bit. Let's hit it with a now some of these parts that don't look tree-like, I'm gonna go and kind of just give it a little bit, you know. There we go. Some of it needs to be thinner, thicker. Let's turn on perspective a little bit, and now we should have something that looks a little more interesting. So now let's go BST. Then we can use one of our kind of wood alphas to really give it a little bit of texture, not a lot of texture, you know. There we go. Maybe increase the intensity a little bit. Alright. Just trying to give it something, not a lot. From afar, like the texture is enough to give you a little bit of something, but not a lot of stuff. now with this subtool, what you can also do is, where I've got this guy, what I can do is, maybe if I go move, control, I can duplicate this piece, maybe rotate it in a different weird angle or something, right? Shove it back in, scale it down a little bit, right? Rotate it this way. And a lot of this is going to be cut out of the frame because we only need like this much of it, so that's fine. Now I can I'm going to duplicate it. Just going to duplicate, boop, and then I will move this entire thing over this way and rotate it like so. That. Maybe let's add, let's duplicate this guy again. Just gonna use this. I'm gonna move these guys down a little bit. Move them forward. Solo this. What I want to do is separate them. So I'm just gonna boop. Boom, just like that. Solo. Now I've got these guys kind of split up. I can then select this guy. Alright, so we've kind of made ourselves the background elements of our scene. Now, let's go to BPR texture or BPR render. See what we got. It's taking a lot longer because we have a lot more elements in the scene now. There we go. And next thing I would do is maybe like make some ground or some dirt on the ground and stuff to kind of hide some of these pieces that we have back here so that they look like they're embedded in the ground. So that would be the next portion of this. Let me get so yeah, like there's like some dirt, grass and stuff on the ground. The easiest way to do that is just append 3D plane like so. Alright, I've got my 3D plane. I'm going to rotate my plane. Let's go here, move, rotate it 90 or so degrees, and then scale this bad boy up a little bit. Alright, so now I've got my scene kind of scaled up. So I'm just gonna make sure it's kind of like that. What I do is move this guy up like so. Alright. So now I've kind of got this ground plane that they all sit on. Alright. And the next thing I want to do is I want to add some texture to it. That'll be the quickest way to get kind of information on it. So I'll go maybe, let's see, let's do a quick Dynamesh of this. Nope. ZRemesher. Now let's divide it once more. So we've got some pretty interesting stuff going here, and now I can let's see if I have something that kind of resembles a grungier. There you go. I just want something easy to quickly just kind of throw on it, and then I'm gonna do a. There we go. This is actually better. This gives me some interesting peaks and valleys. Maybe it's too much. I'll go 13. Here we go. Something like this. It's pretty chill. And then now with this, I can do a ZRemesher on it. Right, so you see how quick I was just able to make some interesting looking, some kind of ground plane texture for our scene. Right. Let's rotate it a little bit. Just gonna scale this up quite a bit more. All right. Just moving some of this stuff back a little bit. So now we've got some interesting ground plane stuff going on here. Might move these guys out of frame a little bit. Our trees. Right. So now we've got kind of like a background that's got a little bit of noise on it, and let's do a draw. Let's divide it one more time. Okay. It's too much. That's too noisy. You want something like that's got some width to it and a little simple. Maybe increase the intensity a little bit. Reduce the intensity a little bit. Something in the middle. Alright, I'm just kind of peppering this type of info everywhere. Alright, so now this is now the perfect time to use let's do a ZBrush on this again, just so we have some better topology working with us. Nope. Let's do same, ZBrush it. And this would be the perfect time to use the grass and stuff that we've got in here. So I might move this down quite a bit because I want to frame our character a little bit there. Here we go. I'm gonna make it look like these guys are embedded in the ground a little bit. Maybe let's pull this guy out a little bit. Alright, because now I can draw here, increase the scale, right, of my, increase the scale, go BCB, clay build up, and then I'm going to use that to just kind of build up around here. Alright, and then now what I want to do is, let's ZBrush it again for better topology. And then I'm going to use my mask to paint some FiberMesh grass onto it. And after that, I should call it done for the day. So I'm just going to randomly do it right now. Let's see how it looks in the image. So our image, you can see he's got like some grass growing in different parts of it, like right there. So that's what I'm going to try to address right quick. So he's got a lot of, I would say a lot of grass, like right here around some of these stones a little bit. Alright, so I'm just gonna, alright, and I always tell you guys, like, these parts are like the most fun part of the project usually, because now you're just kind of having fun with it. Increasing my brush a little bit. Alright, now I just want to throw some grass and some different parts of it. And what I can do is, if I hit Control, you see how it smooths out my mask? I kind of want that for some of these. Usually I don't use it, but like for something like this, you do want smoother transitions. Alright. I'm going to maybe make some sparse parts of the grass. And then there's going to be some parts of it that's like kind of dense. Alright, so now you can either go into your light box over here or your surface over here. It's going to do the same thing. You bring up your light box for, not surface, let's see, FiberMesh, sorry. And then you can do something like this. Alright, so I'm going to then rotate back around so you guys can see what's happening there. Alright, it's way too much right now, so we're going to go into our modifier, and then we're going to go just reduce the length quite a bit. Alright. Gonna reduce the length quite a bit. And then I want to maybe, let's see, gravity's fine. This is all fine and well and dandy. I'm gonna maybe reduce the root. The root. Let's see, let's open this again. I want something thinner. See if there's like thinner, grassy. That's wavy hair, swirls. Okay, this is probably a little, it's got texture on it too, so let's just reduce the length. Okay, so that's what's, okay, so I think this part is a little too, that's the bend of it. So let's mess with the width profile. There we go, that's what I want. Increase the coverage. It's a little, here we go. Because they're more like spindly in their, and increase this a little bit, maybe increase the length. Here we go, that's more like it. See what this looks like. All right. It might disappear because I don't have it finalized, but I want to see what it looks like. There we go. Very interesting. Yeah, I like the way the grass, I'm gonna accept this grass. Yes. And it's gonna keep it in fast preview mode, which is fine with me. So now we've got essentially like our scene done. The next parts would be kind of texturing the scene and then rendering it. So that would be the final class. And yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me? Let me check the chat to see if there are any questions in chat. No? Alright, most people have gone, so that's fine. Alright, so I will post this video up for everyone to see. Let's go to my render. You guys are free to go unless you have any questions for me. Alrighty, thanks guys.